Community is important, and you'll find it at Pioneer Point. Spacious apartments, thoughtfully designed for older adults, provide the best in senior living. Heated parking and elevator access makes life easy. Your neighbors at Pioneer Point hold a welcoming, family-like approach to living. Choosing from an array of special features and options, you'll find many ways to define your lifestyle at Pioneer Point. Call or schedule your tour online today at pioneercare.org.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
There we go. I had to make sure the camera's on and not staring at the side of a monitor. How's it going, Mary?
Good. I just hope the audio weren't live just a couple of seconds ago, because I took a drink of my coffee and it was a lot hotter than I planned on it being, so I did one of those.
Oh, no, it was.
Okay. Well, now I did it, so now even if you missed it before, now you got it. It's kind of gross, sorry.
The audio comes through the board, so unless
okay.
you're up on this end, there's no audio. Plus, I was dealing with my camera, so the camera wasn't even on.
All right, well, we don't have to worry about that then. But
No slurping.
I did do a little bit of a slurp, so sorry about that, and the one I just recreated. in case you're eating your cereal and you didn't need to hear that.
One thing we're going to do, though, at the bottom after the market, so we're going to go through one of the big events happening this week is the Fergus Falls Craft Beer Tour.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go grab some of the swag, not all the swag for the VIP.
Oh, good. We get to take a look at some of that. Okay.
So that's one of the nice things. If you're watching the live stream, flip on YouTube, go to KBRF Radio, hit podcast, hit Morning Talk,
and then we'll be able to show you some of the things that you're going to get in that swag bag.
Yes.
If you show up on Friday night. All right, that sounds good. Here I am again saying, oh my goodness, I can't believe it's Thursday. Nice, gentle rain out there right now.
It's one of those nice soakers. It's not going to run off right away. It's going to get into the system.
And we stayed at the cabin for the first time last night.
Okay.
And so here is my mark. There is a tire, one of the tires on the dock.
Yep.
That's the benchmark as to where the water is. And that tire has to be underwater for us to be in good shape.
Yep.
So when the dock went in, there was, you could see the top of the tire.
Okay.
And after the rain, let's see, was it yesterday or overnight the night before? Can't see the tire anymore.
Nice.
Yeah. So I hope you're getting the same kind of rain over in Battle Lake.
I hope they deal with the beaver, and I hope they deal with rain.
Yes. So hopefully everybody is, getting some good, whether it's just for your lawn. Oh my goodness, aren't the lawns green?
Oh, they're popping.
Yeah, had our lawn mowed for the first time yesterday.
We haven't done much at the lake or at our property. I went over to Mom and Dad's, and I had the tractor or their lawnmower out, and I aerated and then put fertilizer down. So
perfect, and then you get all this rain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just before the start of the last rainstorm, I did that. So.
Okay. Well, boy, that lawn is going to look nice. I can't believe it. In fact, I could have. Our mowers called last night and said, "Where do you want the mower set?" So they didn't get it too short or leave it too long. And we usually are in 3.5 to 3 3/4, somewhere in there on a riding mower. And so I said 3.5, John said 3 3/4. They did 3 3/4, and I think it's going to need mowing in a couple of days again.
Well, they do say the shorter you cut it, the faster it grows.
That's very true. That's very true. And, as long as we're getting this moisture, we should just kind of leave it a little longer, maybe.
And I know we did hit May, and there's a lot of people who enjoy the no-mow May, but let's face it, the last couple of years, it's looking nasty.
Is that a thing again?
Well, it's always a thing. It's been a thing for decades. It all depends on how many people do it.
I just feel like last year it was
ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, but I feel like the city really pushed it last year.
What happened last year was normally they enforce there's a city ordinance where you got to keep your stuff looking decent. You can't just let everything get overgrown. If it gets overgrown, they hire somebody to mow it, and you have to pay those people. What they did last year is say, okay, we understand no mow May. If you want to do it during May, we're not going to punish you if you do it.
Oh, I felt like it was an all-out, let's do it.
Well,
and maybe it was like on
there were
social
organizations
media.
and social media that are like, hey, you know, help the pollinators, help do this,
ugh.
that. But what it was on the city's end, they said, okay, we're not going to punish you if you do it.
Okay, but yeah, I don't know. It felt like it was a push, but maybe you're right in saying that it was.
I did a story on it, so.
Yeah, there were organizations or just individuals who.
There's always been people behind it, but I mean, obviously with social media groups.
It got out of hand last year.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Oh yeah.
I mean, around town, this place looked like
Shaggy.
a dump.
Yeah.
And then the 1st of June, a lot of people didn't take care of that because their grass was, 12 inches high. And then what do you do?
I had to laugh. There was one person in my parents' neighborhood that did it, and they threw in the towel a little over halfway through May because their lawn just looked awful, and they had to get a baler or something.
They all look awful. It looks awful if you leave your yard for a week and a half, especially when we've had this kind of moisture. So I will never participate in No Mow May. So don't look at me for that. I just think it looks terrible, and I don't know. I think for some, I hate to say this, but I think for some that took part,
they
it was
use it
just
as an
plain old
excuse.
lazy.
Yeah.
And it never, and their grass never looked nice after that.
No,
either.
it didn't, because it didn't really establish itself. Because obviously, when it grows high, the undergrowth can't grow up because it's not getting any sunlight.
It looked terrible, and then when people cut their lawns, it just looked awful. But anyway, I'm not gonna be a no mayor. In fact, I've already blown it. Well, I guess technically yesterday was April.
Yeah.
So it did get mowed yesterday, and I guarantee you it's going to get mowed again multiple times in May. All right. Well, we talked a little bit about that Karen Reed trial.
Yeah.
And they grilled a phone expert yesterday to see. So somebody else. Another woman who was connected to some of the policemen that were at this party, she says that Karen Reed asked her to do a Google search on how long it would take for someone to die laying out in the snow. And Karen Reed maintains she never asked her to do that. And what they're doing is they're looking at the timestamp on the Google search.
Yep.
And was it before or after he died? Anyway, Karen Reed, she's facing second-degree murder charges. She pleaded not guilty to allegedly ramming her boyfriend with her Lexus SUV, leaving him to die. The judge declared a mistrial after jurors were unable to reach a verdict, and this was last year. Reed's defense includes Alan Jackson, a prominent LA attorney. He was the same guy who represented Kevin Spacey in his trials. Hank Brennan is a special prosecutor. He served as defense counsel for mobster Whitey Bulger.
Oh, wow.
So these are some high
end,
yeah. Anyway, I don't know, but from what I read yesterday, it didn't sound all that great for Karen Reed. Second time around, I know they had trouble finding, a jury again, and how this is going to go, I guess we don't know yet. 11 high school students in upstate New York are ordered to surrender within 48 hours for an alleged hazing incident. When are kids going to be done with this? It was involving a lacrosse team member, and they took him to a remote woods. And then they had all these black hooded people with guns, supposedly, I don't know, real or otherwise, show up to just scare the bejeebers out of this guy, Anyway, they called it hazing on steroids, and now the lacrosse season has just plain old been canceled, and the school district is cooperating with the investigation. Now this is high school.
Yeah.
I didn't know you really hazed in high school. I thought that was a college thing, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. But anyway, these kids are in big trouble, as they should be, and I think they're gonna slap it to them good so this won't happen again. So I don't know if that's enough, just canceling their lacrosse season. There seems like there should be, a little more.
Well, I mean, like you said, they have to surrender to authorities.
Right.
So
yeah.
they don't do that for canceling a high school season.
Right, exactly. President Trump acknowledged that his tariffs could lead to fewer and pricier products in the United States, suggesting maybe children will have just 2 dolls instead of 30. So here he is talking about spoiled, rotten kids. But anyway, he insists that China will suffer a lot more in this trade war. And I think that's true. It just hurts when it hurts your bottom line right now. And also, today is May 1st, and President Trump is acknowledging National Day of Prayer with a prayer service and a number of worship services today. And I just applaud him for doing that. We can think back to our Pledge of Allegiance.
Yep.
One nation under God. Wouldn't that be nice? And so he is acknowledging today being National Day of Prayer, which I appreciate. Let's see. A U-Haul truck driver evaded police near the University of Delaware. This is a terrible story. It resulted in a fatal collision that killed a graduate student and injured several others. The driver, of course, faces multiple charges, including second-degree murder and reckless conduct. Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings called the incident senseless and intolerable, and certainly so unnecessary and avoidable.
And I mean, if you're getting pulled over from the police, pull over. We had that fatal crash on 94 a couple days ago.
I know.
Lady was running from a traffic stop,
she was
running from a traffic
I
stop
didn't
and
know
rear-ended the semi and slid under it.
Oh, that's awful.
Yep.
Anyway, in another story, more than half of Americans with treatable depression and anxiety, they're hesitant to take antidepressants due to concerns over side effects.
I believe that.
I believe that too. In fact, this morning I saw an ad on TV, and now I can't remember what drug the ad was for, but they list off all of the most common side effects. And just the most common ones were terrible.
Yeah.
That would make me, I've done this before. I've gotten a prescription filled. I've gotten home and they have those pages and pages of stuff that come with your prescription. I actually took the time to read them, and I went right back to the pharmacy and said, you can have this back. I won't take it.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm not taking a chance on any of that.
Mm-hmm.
The side effects were worse than what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Anyway, genetic testing companies like Myriad Genetics offers tests like GenSight to predict medication efficacy and tolerability, aiming to address these concerns. So now we don't trust the drug companies either.
I did an interview about 3-4 years ago. I replay it every once in a while because it's very interesting. It was with Dr. Heather Zierhart with the University of Minnesota, and she talked about that genetic testing for find out what drugs work better for what. And it was very, very interesting. I think I might reach out and do an updated version of that because it was just fascinating.
And don't you think that certain medications work better for certain people depending on, and maybe that's what she was talking about.
It's genetic makeup. They look at it. She went through, the 23andMe and all that, how that's advanced. And then she went in. We talked about, going to clinics and getting your DNA checked out to see, do you have the proper chromosomes or proper genetic structure to make this drug A more effective for you instead of drug B, instead of drug C, and how all that worked. And it was just absolutely fascinating.
But isn't it? We don't hear much about that though.
No.
And it seems.
But it
like, seems like you go in. Oh, we got a drug for that.
It was in its infancy when I interviewed her, and it was just absolutely just fascinating because it was just starting.
That would be fun to hear more from her.
Yeah.
You mentioned 23andMe and all these,
Ancestry.com.
Ancestry.com, all of those where you can find out, where your ancestors came from. I am reading more and more stories about awful outcomes from that. People find out that their dad is not really their dad, and, they're finding out that, I had a sister that my mom gave up, never told me about. I'm like, I grew up with the family that I grew up with. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And I honestly, my dad's name was Ole, for heaven's sakes. My ancestors came from Norway. That's just how it goes.
I mean, I've researched it back far enough that I found the boat that our ancestors came on.
Okay.
The USS Britannia came into Philadelphia.
You can research stuff like that without finding out, and I don't know. And people are chasing around the country to meet family members that that they have uncovered. And then it makes me wonder how accurate all of that testing really is. And if some of these, I know families who've been ruined by by what they learned from 23andMe or Ancestry.com. I don't know. That sounds like a nightmare to me. It was just such a, it was just a trend there for a while. I don't know if it's as popular now as it was before. Or...
Jen got me one of those for Christmas. I didn't use it because it was 23andMe, and I knew 23andMe was facing financial issues.
Oh.
And so I kind of held off, and then 23andMe went bankrupt, and one of the things they sold was all their genetic information on everybody.
Oh.
And so I'm just like, I'm kind of happy I didn't do that one.
Yeah, for sure. I never even thought about it on that end.
Yeah, because
Is staying in the new going out?
I like that.
We'll tell you about that when we come back on Morning Talk.
Plus, a check on the swag from the Craft Beer Tour.
Hang around.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
See you at the Fergus Falls Craft Beer Tour this Friday from 5 to 9 at the Big Wood.
Keeping you company out on the lakes, the Minnesota Twins, and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Hey, it's Chris Atterbury. Join me and Paul Molitor for some day baseball from Cleveland. We kick off the month of May with an afternoon affair. 11:30 lineup card, 12:10 first pitch. Simeon Woods Richardson and Ben Lively as the Twins seek a split in Cleveland today on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Just announced employee pricing for everyone on Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. Nearly every model comes with this amazing employee pricing at Nelson Auto Center, Fergus Falls. And it's for everyone. Some exclusions apply. This is a perfect time to get that new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram and pay what the employees pay. Employee pricing for everyone. Take your test drive today at Nelson Auto Center, Fergus Falls.
Find us online at nelsonfergusfalls.com.
What's the ox say?
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox, it's Ox Across America 2025. This time broadcasting from the state capitol in St. Paul. Here's senators and representatives' updates on what they're working on, how it will affect you, and how hyper-partisanship may be holding things up in the final 3 weeks of session. See you for Hot Talk with the Ox today from the Capitol from 2 to 5 on KBRF.
What's the ox say?
Doth thou wisheth to save money? At FergusFallsDeals.com, we've got a whole lot of new savings, including certificates for home and garden. So much more and great savings at low prices, like Atlas Outdoor Services, Flour Mill, and beyond the mitered corners. Log on to set up an account now. It's that easy. Check it out and start saving money today at FergusFallsDeals.com.
With its increased efficiency and lower fuel costs, ag producers know that propane is better for their bottom line. And now, participating in the Propane Farm Research Program can impact your bottom line. Share your propane equipment performance data and you can receive compensation, like up to $5,000 towards towable generators and generators for backup power, and up to $2,000 for propane building heat systems. To take advantage of all the ways propane is better for your bottom line, start your application today at propane.com/PFRP.
Find out why the markets are moving. Get in-depth ag information with the Red River Farm Network on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Good morning. Market
market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Grain markets continue to trade two-sided here. We're seeing corn kind of flop around. We're right now trading unchanged to a penny higher. Wheat is trading 3 to 5 higher, and soybeans trading 2 to 3 cents lower. Paradigm Futures analyst Kent Beadle said the grain just remains two-sided here and pretty quiet trade.
We did have overnight strength tied to what I think is ongoing export business. We didn't have any actual overnight sales announcements like we did yesterday. Yesterday we sold some corn to unknown destinations, but we did have the weekly export sales report out this morning, which was once again very, very strong. It was interesting to note that in the export sales report, we saw China as a buyer of U.S. soybeans.
Cattle market remaining strong as well.
Or same story, different day, I guess. We just don't have enough. We just don't have enough animals right now, and so far the consumer has not yet balked at paying higher prices for beef. This kind of helps support the hogs. Hogs are, have been seasonally recovering, and the hog market had taken a little bit of a pause in its seasonal climb higher. But
you're listening to the Red River Farm Network.
Protect your livelihood with a livestock risk protection policy through Ag Country Farm Credit Services. With an LRP policy, you're covered if the market price unexpectedly drops for fed cattle, feeder cattle, or swine. Coverage options range from 70 to 100%. Get an LRP policy from a team that knows agriculture. Contact your local Ag Country office to learn more. Ag Country, focused on ag, focused on you. Ag Country is an equal opportunity lender and provider.
The Gowan USA dry bean herbicide platform delivers. Get premier dry bean weed control from Eptam 7E and Sunland HFP, providing excellent pre-emergent control of grasses and key broadleaf weeds, and they can be tank mixed with many pre-products. Follow with a post-application of permit and clean up the late flushes of nutsedge and other broadleaf weeds. Use Eptam 7E plus Sunland HFP followed by permit for clean beans and higher yields. Always read and follow label directions from Gowan Company.
Listen for Crop Watch every Tuesday during Agriculture Today and many of these Red River Farm Network stations. Each week, we'll travel a different part of our listening area and report what farmers, crop consultants, extension specialists, and crop experts have to say. Join us each Tuesday, 12:37 for Crop Watch. Great way to hear about crop and weather conditions all across the Northern Plains. Crop Watch, sponsored by Ag Country Farm Credit Services, Hefty Seed, IRE Insurance Agency, and ProSeed.
The Red River Farm Network is reporting agriculture's business with the markets, farm news, and weather information you need each and every day.
Again, hats off to you, Don, and the Red River Network. What you guys do, connecting your listeners to what's happening and people and telling stories. You guys are doing an awesome job at it, so thank you.
That's Greg Peterson, better known as Machine Repeat. The Red River Farm Network can be heard from Worthington to War Road, from Bismarck to Bemidji, 23 radio stations, and online at rrfm.com.
July wheat Minneapolis 2 3/4 cents higher, 5.99 3/4. Chicago July wheat's up 5.5. Kansas City July wheat 3 3/4 higher. July corn is unchanged, 4.75 December corn penny and a quarter higher, 4.47 July soybeans down 4.25 cents rather, 10.40 1/4. November soybeans down 3 cents, 10.15 1/4. In Winnipeg, July canola down $2.20 a metric ton. June live cattle $1.15 higher, 209.55. August is up 87 cents. August feeder cattle 75 cents higher, 295.77. September 65 cents higher. June lean hogs are down 30 cents at 97.97. July down 15 cents. This is the Red River Farm Network.
The Fergus Falls Craft Beer Tour is this Friday. Limited VIP available, so get yours now.
For a limited time, employee pricing for everyone at Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls. From America, for America. Get employee pricing on most new Fords. Some exclusions apply. Get a new 2025 F-150 and save up to $12,000. Buy below invoice like Ford employees and get the newest model at $12,000 off. Employee pricing for everyone from Ford and Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Stop sprinkling your ad budget around, hoping for results. Make a splash with Leighton Media. Our company has over 60 years of history and a team with over 100 employees, all strongly vested in your business success. With a strategic media approach, we optimize every investment you make with your marketing dollars to make them work better than ever. Ready to make an impact? Connect with Leighton Media today. Our team is ready to work for you. Leighton Media, your success starts here.
Hey, want to make your next meal a little less ordinary? Well, head to Quick Trip. Hey, we are so back serving up our legendary No Ordinary Chicken. Yeah, your dinner is hand-breaded, fried to perfection, ready to eat for tonight's dinner. Or you can buy it cold, sealed fresh for tomorrow's lunch. You know, we love to make life easier for you. This isn't just any chicken. It's Quick Trip's No Ordinary Chicken. Stop in your local Quick Trip today and taste the difference.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here with new tools for you when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at herewithyou.org. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation and aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
I should have hit all the buttons when I still had my glasses on.
Oh my goodness. I looked up and went, wow.
Of course, we got the craft beer tour coming up tomorrow, presented by Builder's First Source. And this is one of the pair of sunglasses we're giving away, part of our VIP package. We got a lot of nice swag that we have.
Those are like the latest, greatest style.
Yeah.
All the young, hip people are wearing.
I know.
So they look super young and hip on you.
We got this pair.
Oh.
So you get the blue and white ones.
Okay.
There's also...
Oh, more.
The black version.
Wow.
So you got those.
Okay, so far I like the blue ones on you.
Okay, so we'll switch back to the blue ones.
Okay.
We'll go back to the blue ones here. And then obviously we got a nice little swag bag.
Sure.
Nice little bag you can use
You know
for
what?
all
Those
your
are
summer
great.
stuff. These are awesome.
And you know what they are great for? To travel with.
Yeah.
Because you can lay them in the bottom of your suitcase. They don't take up any room. And then you've got this little kind of backpacky thing when you get on vacation. Those are great.
Yeah, so this is the bag that comes
Okay.
with everything comes in. You get a t-shirt. We got two different cozies. We've got, the tall one for your White Claws.
cans.
Yeah, your skinny cans. And that one's brought to you by Park Region. And Atlas Outdoor Services has the normal koozies.
Okay.
And then Mike Miller's Roofing sponsors the glasses.
Wow.
And then Farmers Insurance, Jessica Lopez Agency, sponsors the bag.
He's having trouble seeing because...
I don't have my glasses on. And then Fergus Fastlane, nice little keychain, like a little floaty one for your boat keys.
Oh, good idea.
Right there for when you're out on the boat. You don't want to lose your stuff.
Good idea.
And then we also have more swag that's going to show up tomorrow. So this is just some of it. Like I don't have the shirts. I don't have... I think there's more stuff too. So Cole's bringing that stuff up tomorrow before the event. So.
Okay.
But that is a look at the swag that we do have.
Fun.
And I'm going to give everybody a little heads up, a little
here we
special info for Morning Talk listeners.
Okay.
Tonight, from 4 to 6 is Zach Daniels. You know him from KBRF Presents, So Where to Eat.
Yes.
He's going to be at the liquor store. I do believe the one on this side of town. So the new Fergus Liquors.
Okay.
And you can register. He's going to be giving away, it's either 5 or 6 pairs of VIP tickets. So I'm going to say 5 pair.
Okay.
It might be 6, but I'm going to say 5 for sure.
Okay.
So he's going to be giving away 5 pair of VIP tickets.
So you can go there and register.
Yes.
And are they going to do the drawing tonight? Do we
Yeah,
know?
well, yeah, they'll be doing the drawing tonight. They'll get a hold of you, and you'll be on the will call.
Perfect.
At the Bigwood Event Center tomorrow night. It is the Fergus Falls Craft Beer Tour presented by Builders First Source.
And that's great. That's going to be a fun time. And you mentioned Builders First Source.
Yep.
I just want to give a shout out because I'm currently working with Builders First Source on a bit of a kitchen remodel.
I can see.
Yeah, oh, good. And I just have to tell you that this Jackie that I've been working with is just amazing.
They do great work.
They do, and they've made it really, the process, really fun and easy, and she's just got so many good suggestions and has done so many projects, so she knows the pieces and the things that she really likes and how they've turned out in other places. So whatever she says, I'm like, okay, if you like that, I'm in. But anyway, Builders First Source, it's not done yet, it's coming, but I'm gonna get new stone countertop, and I'm so excited about it. So, but I can't say enough good things about Builders First Source. I've had a great time working with Jackie so far.
I got one more piece of swag to show off.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about this. This is the mug, unlimited refills of these mugs.
Okay.
And I don't have the lanyard. I know that's coming tomorrow. I had like t-shirts, all that other stuff. So this is like part of the swag bag that we've got. And this is brought to you by Olson Oil and Lakeway Express sponsoring the glasses there. So
is there one of those every year, I suppose?
Yep, there's a new version every year, so you got to collect them all. This is the Retro Tropical.
And how many years strong is this? Do you know?
It's the 6th annual.
6th annual, okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's been going for a while.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very popular event, so
make
sure that you get those tickets. I think they were, the VIP tickets were getting a little slim, so if
you want to get those.
Yet.
Limited amount of swag.
Right. Okay. Well, I think that sounds like a lot of fun. Well, don't stay in tomorrow night.
No.
This story is asking about, is staying in the new going out? And I think it is.
I usually prefer to stay in a lot of times because I go out so much. It's like I just want to stay home.
Well, and it's not just staying in by yourself at home.
No.
It's maybe staying in at somebody else's house. You're going to a house rather than going out, all the time.
Or something.
Well, anyway, they say that about 3/4 of the people that they asked this question said, we'd rather stay in with friends rather than go out. And I totally agree with that. I love to do that. 28% prefer a night out on the town. And you know what? Every once in a while, I love to eat out. So I like to do that.
I love to do the night out on the town when I was younger, but as I get older,
We're a little old for that, is that what you're saying?
We're not a little old, it's just I appreciate being home more.
I do too. And you when you've got kids at home and that sort of thing, and I'm running with grandkids and going to track meets and baseball games and all that sort of thing, and so we're busy. So staying home feels really good, but I do love to go out for dinner. In fact, had dinner at Spanky's last night.
Oh.
It was fabulous.
I will say this, one of my favorite things, we did an episode of Where to Eat at Spanky's a while back, and probably the thing, it's stupid to say that this is the thing I remember most about Spanky's, but their mushrooms.
Okay, yeah.
They're cooked in wine.
Oh, well, everything they do is
and it's
so
just,
good. I always have the very same thing. I always have the shrimp, always, and it's so good. And everything, even their, I thought you were going to say, you know what, one of my favorite things is that's really silly is the salad has that little round piece of, I don't know what it is, like fried Parmesan. It's a piece of Parmesan.
Yeah, see, we didn't get the salad.
Oh, and it's on top of the salad. Oh.
We had
they used to make the salad bowl out of Parmesan cheese. It's like baked Parmesan, so it's crispy. Oh. It's so good. But now there's just this, a little wafer kind of on top of it. So good. So that's one of my favorite things about going there. They make a really great salad, and then they serve like butterhorn rolls. I don't know what you call them, or kind of croissant-y kind of things, and they're warm. And then they've got this almond butter that they serve on the side that's so good. So those are a couple of my favorite things.
See, we didn't have like the full dinner experience. We had like 8 appetizers.
Oh,
we
my.
had like 3 entrees, and yeah, it was.
Yeah, well, it sounds good. And I do love to eat out, but I do appreciate, hanging out on somebody's deck or patio or. And you know what my favorite thing is? When you've got no plans, like let's say for the weekend. No, you have no plans, nothing to do, and then something just comes up or someone stops by or you run into someone and you say, well, why don't you come on over? And they say, that sounds great. That not planned stuff, and when that happens, that's the most fun, I think.
Yeah, I
love that.
I like to plan.
Do you? Well, I mean, and I like to plan too, because if you're going to do food and whatever. But if it's like off the cuff like that, then you're off the hook with food, because you can say, well, I didn't know you were coming. But I like when, I think having no plans is a really great plan, because then sometimes a plan comes together that you don't expect, and it turns out to be a whole lot of fun. And then if a plan doesn't come together, yeah, you're there just hanging out.
Yep.
That's pretty good too. All right, well, anyway, staying in, the new going out, it is for some of us, and probably has to do with some of our ages. We just get pooped out, and anyway.
I think it's more of a been there, done that. I mean, it's
Maybe.
the night out on the town,
You know what
the
that is
staying
like
out
for
till
me
2 in the morning.
is going to concerts.
Oh, see, I still go to concerts.
See, I don't love that.
I love concerts.
Do you? Yeah.
I don't go to as many as I did when I was younger. When I mean, anybody came to town when I was younger, I'd go see it.
Really?
But now it's few and far between. I mean, I went to the AC/DC concert at US Bank Stadium a couple weeks ago.
That gives me the hives.
Did a phenomenal show. I mean, they're all. I mean, Brian Johnson's 78, Angus is 70. I mean, they're a little older,
Well,
but man, they put on a show.
That's classic. You have to be an AC/DC fan. A lot of screaming going on at the AC/DC concert.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might be too old for that. I was the girl who went to see Melissa Manchester and the Carpenters, and and I've seen a lot of country acts when in my
Fest,
radio days, and those were fun too. I think you're exactly right. Been there, done that.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the punk rock era, so I mean, we saw like Green Day, Offspring, and stuff like that.
Yep. Okay. Now there are 12 U.S. states who have moved to ban smartphones in school altogether. What do you think?
I think it's a smart idea. Although I will say this, kids are going to rebel.
Yeah.
There's going to be a revolt.
Well, I think there are some ways that you can do it.
I like the check-in at the class, like put it in a little port there.
They have those little pouches that I think they disable the phone.
They probably block
Some of them
RF,
do. Yeah, they block it or something. Anyway, I see that being kind of a good deal. I don't know. In between classes, and I don't know. Kids are so locked into their phones. Just walk around, and I noticed that in an airport. And of course, when you're sitting in an airport, you've got nothing else to do, so you look at your phone. But even when we were out for dinner in Phoenix, I would look over at a table, and there would be a family there, and 3 or 4 people were sitting looking at their phones while they waited for their food. Now, wouldn't it be nice to just visit with each other?
Have a conversation. Well, you don't know. This could be night 5 or 6 that they've been at this whole restaurant, or
maybe.
they may be conversation now. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe. Well, anyway, they, as a result, 13 states have now moved, I think I said 12, but now it says 13 here, have moved to restrict phone use in the classroom. And I think that's great.
One of the states that is looking at that is North Dakota. I don't know if it's gone
if
fully through it, but I know that it is in discussion.
Well, I know, I don't know what they do here locally, but I do know that it's being talked about having some kind of restrictions, at least during the day. And these little envelopes or these little cases for phones.
Yeah.
And, you know, in some cases, it's kind of nice for, you know, moms and dads to be able to text a message to a kid during the school day somewhere. But it's not like they couldn't check those at lunch or right after school, you know?
Or in between classes.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But I mean, you can't sit there trying to take a test all of a sudden,
yeah, okay, so here's what's happening in some of these schools where they have banned them. So they get to school and they have to turn in a phone before they go into class. Well, kids are buying burner phones and turning in the burner phone and then walking in with their phones. So about the only way around that is to have some kind of cell blocker, if I'm sure there is something like that, where it just makes your phones not work during certain parts of the day. I don't know how they're going to do that, but...
Well, you just punish the kids that turn in the burner phone, don't turn in their phone.
I guess. But I mean, isn't that just like a kid to find a way around?
Oh, yeah.
They just don't want to put those phones down, you know, they think they can't operate without them. And, you know...
Like mom and dad?
Well, and a lot of us do the same thing. We're connected to them. I don't go anywhere without my phone. And if you do, at first it's like, oh, I forgot my phone. And then, remember one day I did that here and I left it at home, and so I got here, and a couple of times I even reached over for it, and it wasn't there. But as I went, at first I'm like, oh, now what am I going to do without my phone? I got this and this and this. And about 5 minutes into the show, I thought, this is wonderful. This is so nice. Don't have to think about looking at my phone. All right, time for a couple more here. There's a Michigan resident who lost $5,000 in cash. Believed police attempts to contact them were a scam.
Oh.
So everybody's scared that they're getting scammed these days. A trooper found the funds in the middle of a road on Friday, and a local bank confirmed that a customer recently took out that exact amount. Unfortunately, when police attempted to call the suspected owner, they were ignored. The subject must have been listening to our public service announcements on being a victim of fraud and believed he was being scammed and hung up on the trooper several times. Fortunately, the person was eventually convinced that there was a real officer with their money on the other end of the line. We did that once, and I may have told this story before, but we got several phone calls. John had played in a golf event, and by being a participant in the event, you were automatically registered to win this great golf vacation. Well, we never even thought twice about it, you know. Well, got several calls, and it was months down the road. And got several calls, and they said, hey, John, you won this golf event. And we're like, yeah, whatever, click. And this poor woman, I'm sure between John and I, we hung up on her 4 or 5 times. And the last time she called, she said, this is not a scam, please don't hang up, please don't hang up. Well, finally, she was able to convince us that he had, in fact, won a golf vacation, and it was a fabulous trip to Florida.
Oh, nice.
At a great golf vacation spot, and we got tons. I mean, they gave us so many golf balls and swag, we couldn't even get it all home. And we ended up having this fabulous vacation. That was so much fun. But we didn't believe them.
Well, I know when we don't do this show regularly anymore, but back when we used to do Let's Go Places, I would be calling all these museums and places, and I'd have to say, I'm not a salesperson, I'm not a salesperson. It's like, I'm not trying to sell you radio ads. Here's the deal.
Right.
And I had to, get that out right off the bat because they'd hang up. They'd say, not interested to hang up. It's like, no, I'm not trying to sell you radio ads. I am not trying to sell you anything. This is going to cost you nothing but 15 minutes of your time.
Right, I know, it's hard.
It's like, we've got sponsors for the show.
It's hard to convince people, isn't it?
Oh my God.
We're all so skeptical.
Well, it's because there's so many scams.
Right, there sure are. All right, want a couple trivia questions? We have time for 2? Yep. I've got 2 for you here. Oh gosh, you probably know these, I don't. What is Charlie's last name in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Wiggins? I have no idea.
Bucket.
Charlie
Bucket.
Okay.
Didn't know that. What do the plastics call their slam book in the 2004 movie Mean Girls.
I don't know. They're
So it's a book where they wrote like mean things.
Mean Girls
It's a
book?
slam book, yeah. What did they call it?
No idea. Never saw it.
The Burn book. I never saw it either.
Wow, I went over 2. That's
Yeah,
weird.
well, that's the, I wouldn't expect you to know either of those.
I haven't seen Charlie and the
Charlie
Chocolate Factory.
Bucket.
I haven't seen that since I was like maybe 5, and then I never saw
That's
Mean
like
Girls.
asking what is, oh my gosh, I'm having a block. The Scarecrow and the Tin Man and
Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz. What was her last name?
Dorothy?
Yeah,
No idea.
Dorothy Gale.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Okay, and so, yeah, I couldn't even come up with Wizard of Oz. How in the world I came up with her last name, I don't know. But, well, anyway, yeah, happy May Day, everybody. And if you made your May baskets, good for you. I think my Easter baskets and the May basket might come together somehow because we haven't even done the Easter basket. That's how far behind we are. All right, coming up on 10 o'clock, that's going to wrap it up for the week. Thank you for joining us. Our show today and every day brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Falls Monument Company. Hope you have a great weekend.